My name is Sophie. I'm 26 years old and I live in a small town by the sea. People say my life is peaceful, and maybe it looks that way from the outside. But inside, I carry a story that still breaks my heart. It began 2 years ago with a letter. The last letter? It was a cloudy morning in March. The sky was gray and the air smelled of rain. I was working in a small flower shop near the harbor. I love that place. The smell of roses, the sound of seagulls outside, the soft music from the radio. Every morning, I opened the shop at 8 o'clock and arranged flowers near the window. That day, when I unlocked the door, I saw a man standing outside, tall, quiet, with a brown coat and tired eyes. He smiled softly and said, "Good morning. I'd like to buy some lilies, please." I nodded and wrapped them carefully. As I handed him the flowers, he said something strange. "These are her favorite." I didn't understand. I smiled politely and asked, "For your wife?" He paused for a moment and said, "No, for someone I lost." Then he paid, thanked me, and left. Something about him stayed in my mind all day. There was sadness in his voice, like he was talking to a ghost. 2 days later, he came again. This time, he asked for white roses. He smiled again, but it didn't reach his eyes. I asked carefully, "Are the flowers for the same person?" He nodded. Yes, she loved white roses. Then he looked at me and asked, "Do you believe people can love after death?" His question surprised me. I didn't know what to say. I whispered, "Maybe, if the love is strong enough." He smiled again, a small, broken smile, and said, "Then I guess I still love her?" And he left. After that, he became a regular customer. He came every Sunday morning, always at the same time, always asking for flowers, lilies, white roses, or daisies. Each time he looked sad but peaceful. I didn't even know his name, but something about him touched my heart. He looked like someone who had lost everything but still carried love inside. One Sunday when he came again, I said gently, "You always bring flowers for her. Was she someone very special?" He looked at me for a long time, then said quietly, "She was my fiancée. Her name was Emily." My heart sank. I said softly, "I'm sorry." He smiled sadly. "She died 3 years ago. A car accident. She was on her way to meet me." For a moment I couldn't speak. Then he said, "I bring flowers every week because I promised her I would never forget." I felt tears in my eyes. That was the most beautiful and the saddest thing I had ever heard. Weeks passed. He kept coming and we started talking more. His name was Ethan. He told me stories about Emily, how she loved books, how she laughed loudly, how she dreamed of opening a small library by the sea. Sometimes I laughed with him. Sometimes I wanted to cry. I didn't know when it happened, but I started waiting for Sundays. I wanted to see him again. His pain felt honest. His love felt pure. One evening, I told my friend Mia about him. She said, "Be careful, Sophie. He's still in love with someone who's gone." I said, "I know, but maybe people can heal, right?" She just smiled sadly. One Sunday, Ethan didn't come. I waited. He didn't come the next week either. I began to worry. Then, one morning, a small envelope arrived at the flower shop. There was no name, no address, just my name, Sophie. I opened it slowly. Inside was a letter, written in Ethan's handwriting. It said, "Dear Sophie, if you are reading this, it means I couldn't come to the shop anymore. I'm sorry I never told you the full story. The truth is, I've been sick for a long time. I didn't want to make you sad. You reminded me of Emily, your kindness, your smile, your voice. But this time, I didn't fall in love to replace her. I fell in love because you made me believe in life again. Thank you for giving me peace. I'm leaving this world with flowers in my hands, lilies and white roses just like she loved. Please don't be sad for me. Live, love, and smile." Ethan, I couldn't breathe. My hands were shaking. I sat on the floor, holding the letter, tears falling on the paper. He was gone. For days I couldn't work. I kept thinking about him, His soft voice, his eyes, his pain, his promise. Then, one morning, I walked to the cemetery near the sea. I found his grave beside Emily's. 2 names side by side. Someone had placed lilies and white roses there. I put my hand on the stone and whispered, "I got your letter, Ethan. Thank you for loving me even for a short time." The wind blew gently. The sea waves were calm. I closed my eyes and smiled through my tears. That was the day I learned something important. Love doesn't end when a person dies. Sometimes it begins again in another heart. Now, every Sunday, I still bring flowers, lilies and white roses. Not just for Ethan and Emily, but for the love that taught me how to live again. That was his last letter. But it will stay in my heart forever